Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Today in African History for the second time today. Even though we will, inshallah, be honoring women who have made a contribution to our history during this Women History Month, I'm adding a special episode or video in honor of a giant in our community who fell yesterday on March 1st, 2021. Vernon Jordan grew up with his family in the segregated societal cosmos of Atlanta, Georgia during the 1950s. He was an honors graduate of David T. Howard High School. Rejected for a summer internship with an insurance company after his sophomore year in college because of his race, he earned money for college by working as a chauffeur to former city mayor Robert Maddox, then a banker. Jordan graduated from DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana in 1957. In an interview with Robert Penn Warren for the book Who Speaks for the Negro, Jordan describes his difficulties at DePaul as the only black student in a class of 400. He earned a JD degree at the Howard University School of Law in 1960, and he was a member of the Omega Psi Phi and Sigma Pi Phi fraternities. Jordan returned to Atlanta to join the law offices of Donald L. Holloway, a civil rights activist. The firm, including Constance Baker Motley, sued the University of Georgia for racial discrimination in its admission policies. The suit ended in 1961 with a federal court order demanding the admission of two African students, Charlene Hunter and Hamilton E. Holmes. Jordan personally escorted Miss Hunter past a group of angry white protesters to the university's admissions office. After leaving private practice in the early 1960s, Jordan became directly involved in activism in the field, serving as the Georgia Field Director for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP. Now, from the NAACP, he moved to the Southern Regional Council and then to the Voter Education Project. In 1970, Jordan became Executive Director of the United Negro College Fund, and he was President of the National Urban League from 1971 to 1981. While still with the National Urban League, Jordan in 1981 said of the Ronald Reagan administration, and I quote, "I do not challenge the conservatism of this administration. I do, however, challenge its failure to exhibit a compassionate conservatism that adapts itself to the realities of a society ridden by class and race distinction," unquote. That year, he resigned from the National Urban League to take a position as legal counsel with the Washington, D.C. office of the Dallas law firm of Aiken, Gump, Strauss, Hauer, and Feld. On May 29, 1980, Jordan was shot and seriously wounded outside the Marriott Inn in Fort Wayne, Indiana. He was accompanied at the time by Martha Coleman. Police thought initially that it might have been a domestic incident related to Coleman's life. Then President Jimmy Carter visited Jordan while he was recovering, an event that became the first story covered by the brand new network CNN. Joseph Paul Franklin, a white supremacist and serial killer, was acquitted in the 1982 charges of attempted murder. However, in 1996, after having been convicted of murder in another case, Franklin admitted to having committed the shooting. Jordan, a friend and political advisor of Bill Clinton, served as part of Clinton's transition team in 1992 to 1993, shortly after Clinton was elected president. In the words of the New York Times, and I quote again, "For Mr. Clinton, Mr. Jordan's role has been manifold. Golfing companion, smoother of ruffled feathers, because he put the president back in touch with Zoe Baird after the withdrawal of her nomination to be Attorney General, Counselor-in-Chief after Mr. Clinton was defeated for re-election as governor in 1980 and after the suicide of Vincent W. Foster Jr. in 1993. Conduit to the high and mighty, because he took Mr. Clinton in 1991 to the Bilderberg Conference in Germany, an exclusive annual retreat for politicians and businessmen. Go-between. He told Mike Espy he had to go as Secretary of Agriculture, and he helped win Warren Christopher a larger role as Secretary of State and sounded out General Colin L. Powell for a cabinet job. In 1998, Jordan helped Monica Lewinsky, a former White House intern, after she left the White House. His role was considered controversial given the scandal that the Clinton administration had suffered because of the president's involvement with the intern. On October 1st, 2003, a United States Court of Appeals rejected Vernon Jordan's claim for reimbursement for legal services related to assisting Clinton in scandals regarding Lewinsky and Paula Jones. Jordan asked the government to pay him $302,719, but he was paid only $1,215. Jordan is the only black person to have participated in more than a few Bilderberg conferences. He was invited in 1969 and 1970, and then almost every year between 1979 and 2013, according to the official reports and the list of participants. From January 2000 on, Jordan was a senior managing director with Lazard Ferrers and Company, LLC, an investment banking firm. He was also a member of the board of directors of multiple corporations, including American Express, J.C. Penney Corporation, Asbury Automotive Group, and the Dow Jones and Company. He was a member of the board of directors of Revlon, Sara Lee, Corning, Xerox, and RJR Nabisco during the 1989 leveraged buyout fight between RJR Nabisco CEO F. Ross Johnson and Henry R. Kravis and his company KKR. A close friend of Jordan was the Xerox tycoon Charles Peter McCulloch, who persuaded Jordan to join the board of trustees at Xerox. McCulloch served as a mentor and a friend to Jordan until McCulloch's death. In 2004, or in the 2004 presidential campaign, Jordan led debate preparations and negotiation efforts on behalf of John Kerry, the Democratic nominee for president. That year, he was elected president of the Economic Club of Washington, D.C. In 2006, Jordan served as a member of the Iraq Study Group, which was formed to make recommendations on U.S. policies in Iraq. In May 2017, Jordan served as the commencement speaker at the 163rd commencement of Syracuse University. Vernon Jordan died at his home in Washington, D.C. on March 1st, 2021, just yesterday, at the age of 85. Today, we say goodbye, Baba Vernon. Until tomorrow, inshallah, this is Baba Shaka with Today in African History. Masalam.